assist the little old lady across the road. Welcome to Simplified Sparky Marketing. Before I get into this podcast about systems, I just want to tell you a funny story that happened to me last week. Last week, there was a referral came in from Beacon Lighting, which is fantastic. And the lady called up and she spoke to my receptionist and she booked it in. And my receptionist sent me the email stating that it was a 96-year-old lady, lovely lady, fantastic. So me being soft-souled was like in my head, I will do this for half nothing as a good deed to make myself feel better and to be good to that old lady. I get there, I get to the job and I knocked on the door. Sure enough, the shriveled little old lady answers the door with a big smile on her face. So I greeted her politely, was her best friend, and she showed me what she needed to do. On that note, how cliche are little old ladies? Like, where are the big units at? Where are the big mamas? Where are the nonas? The well-fed Frances? Where is she? It's always, oh, it was a little old lady ripped off. A little old lady this or little old lady that. Where are the big units at? Anyways, back to the podcast. All she needed to do was replace this ceiling fan. There was already one there, so it was a very simple job. So I get there and I get to the door and she goes, I'd just like a quote. And I goes, look, I'll pop it up for you. Not a problem. I'll just do it for $50 cash. Happy days. Everyone's a winner. I should have done it for free. I know. However, hear me out. I'm glad I did say 50 because I walked down and as I got to her living room, she had waterfront views. And I was like, I don't think you're short of a bob. So anyway, I did my good deed, put up the fan, and her daughter happened to be there as well. For starters, I was like, why the fuck didn't the daughter ring up on behalf of her mother, who's 96, but she left her mother organise all of that. Anyway, I did the fan, did the job, and it came to payment. So I goes, look, just call it $50 cash, be perfect. And she goes, oh, do you accept card? So I was like, brilliant. My good deed has now been taxed. So yeah, tax man got a handful of my good deed. And you know what? Fuck it, what about it? It's a good deed. I want to speak about systems. I thought about this today. I had to book more flights, I had to book rental cars, I had to book a load of stuff. And the way you do stuff in life is all a system. The way you get up in the morning is a system. The way you brush your teeth is a system. I guarantee you, if you stop and think about how you shower in a very specific way. You walk into the shower and you'll have your own little routine, be it you put shampoo in your hand, you rub it in your hair. You might do your body wash first. Who knows? But I guarantee if you stop and think about how you shower, it's a system. You do it in a specific type of way. Even when you brush your teeth, left to right side of your mouth first. And you do it every single time without realizing it's just a routine. And that's the exact same principle we need to take into business. Because if you think about it, you do a lot of monotonous stuff in your business. Doing the electrical work is the easy part of your business. Take, for instance, a switchboard again. If you're putting a switchboard enclosure on the wall, you firstly have to put the switchboard enclosure on the wall, mark out the holes, drill out any entry points, etc., secure the board to the wall, then you feed the cables in, then you install the breakers, then you feed the cables into the tops of the breakers. The buzz bar might come last. It's a system. It's all a system. And the exact same way, bits of your business have to be systemized. If not all of your business has to be systemized. I'm saying that people freak people out with systems, and that really shits me. Is like the gurus out there will daunt people that systems are so fucking hard. Systems are easy, and you have to remember as well at the end of the day, the person that is doing the job, let's say for instance you've got an electrician taking on, you're onboarding them again with a system. They're doing the works, they're doing the jobs. You don't have to teach them how to suck eggs. Like, they're going to know how to do the task. It's just anything particular you want done with that task. Again, let's rewind back to your switchboard. It might just be a case of the way you label it. You might want to start with your 63 amp breaker on the left. Then you start with 10s and you build your way up 10s, 16s, 20s, 32s, maybe a 40. You might have it in a reverse order where you start with a 40, 32, 20s, 16s and 10s. That might be your thing for your company. Is like you're very anal on that. That's the way you install the breakers. The likes of that goes into the system. You don't have to tell them to turn the screw 17 times to the correct torque. You don't have to tell that person to double over the copper and the cable when putting it into the breaker. You don't have to tell them how to put a buzz bar in. You just say insert buzz bar. You know, it's the high level overview. You have to remember the person doing that task most likely knows how to do it. The system is purely a method of getting a repeatable outcome every single time with consistency. That is what systems do. Like, looking at my business from a high level is there's marketing channels out there that have all got a system involved with them. from the marketing channels, the leads come in. How are the leads handled? The system with my leads is they are funneled either via phone or via email. There's a system for both. When I'm qualifying, there's a system to qualify. When I'm quoting, there's a system to quote. When I am delivering the job, there's a system around that. When I am finalizing the job, when I'm getting a review, when I'm getting payment, all of that, I have systems built around that, repeatable outcomes that happen every single time. And that is where people drop the ball. And I think it's very evident with a lot of business. You just wing it. So my comparison to this is, if you don't have a specific way that you collect payments, if you don't have a specific way that you invoice people, you just, every single time you create a new email, you type it out or whatever, if you don't have a template, that's just doing it wrong. So hypothetically, let's look at your life again. If your life didn't have systems, can you imagine the way we go to the bathroom is a system. You have your own ways of how you use the toilet, whether you're a folder, whether you're a scruncher. But can you imagine if you didn't really have a system to go to the toilet and you walked in there and let's say you're going for a piss and you're like, fuck, I'm just going to stand up on the toilet this time and point it down. Like that's a system. What you do in there is a system. It's a repeatable system you do every time that has been taught to you most likely by your parents, and you followed it. Because if you didn't follow that system, you'd be pissing all over the walls and worse again. I was going to get into something about using your hands to cup something, but I won't. It's probably too early in the morning for that. But that is the way. I want to get you thinking. This is the aim of this podcast. Is what I do. Is I like to get people thinking differently. Of shit, yeah, that's actually something that I've now just realized is my life is a system. How we do things is a system. You go to the shops to get your fuel for your vehicle. You drive in, get to the pump, you fuel up, you put the pump back, you check if you've got your wallet or whatever, you walk to the shop, you queue in an orderly fashion, you get to the till and you pay. You don't just jump in, get your fuel, drive out the door, not pay. So everything you do in life is a system, and you need to bring that into your business. Everything you do most likely in your business is repetitive. So when you start documenting that, even if you're solo, and better again if you're solo, because like me, when you're solo and you document these things, these outcomes that you want to achieve, and you outsource them to VAs and people like that in your business, accountants, bookkeepers, you outsource your process and you give it to them, it takes weight off of your shoulders, and that is how you excel in business. And that's how you become a lean machine like my business. It's low numbers and it's high profit. And that's the aim of Simplified Sparky. Your business should be an entire system, and that's what I help guys with. And if you need any help, check out the links in the description. I'll chat to you next week.